Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Thursday, the 20th of May, comes to you from London. And we saw big falls in markets yesterday, especially in energy and European energy in particular. And we will take a look at what's going on in the energy market and what it means for the market. But today, we'll start just by looking at the macro, remembering this is my weekly, my daily, and my 60-minute chart with the corresponding point and figure charts, so long-term, medium-term, and short-term view of the market, these log-scale point and figure targets. So we get a very quick view of what's going on. The dollar recovered a little bit overnight, but still bearish on all three time frames. This move below the medium-term cloud on the daily chart is significant. Looks like we're heading for new lows in the dollar. Big downside targets, just waiting for this downside target to be activated some 20% lower. The euro then looking stronger, nudging the 122 level against the US dollar and looking bullish therefore. So euro looking stronger. Sterling actually also looking stronger, 140, 134, so looking strong there. And against the euro, sterling is sitting at 115.85, falling away a little bit. In sympathy with the US dollar really, but still bullish above the cloud on the medium and long term charts, so still looking better there. The big news yesterday was Bitcoin. We did actually touch the $30,000 level, which is where we had this target to. We didn't quite get to the target, and we did find some support on the point and figure chart. So the fact that we didn't reach the target is actually bullish confirmation for the moment. So if we go no lower, the fact that we didn't actually get to the downside target is quite good news. But this target, when we're at $48,000, some of you on LinkedIn might have remembered I said $30,000. We did actually touch intraday 30,066. So we did actually get almost to that target. It was hard to believe at 48,000. You can't ignore these targets, and they do still hang over us, and we haven't moved back into short-term, medium territory. If you're trading cryptocurrencies, keep an eye on those 1 minute targets. They're going to be very useful to you. Looking at the S&P 500 index, we were actually recovering quite a bit towards the end, and we only ended up 0.3% down, and the Nasdaq actually managed to finish slightly higher, so quite significant there. And we see the futures this morning fairly flat, so recovered towards the end of the close yesterday in the US. Futures fairly flat. The VIX volatility sitting at 22, fallen back a little bit, but it's been quite a ride. The fear index has been sort of all over the place. The FTSE futures up just over 2/3% this morning. The DAX in Germany by a similar amount. And the CAC Garonne also by a similar amount. So European markets up generally around 0.23, up 2/3%. So looking stronger there. Asia actually still was lower. We saw Japan slightly down, and China also slightly down, and India slightly down. The Aussie market recovered back below the 7,000 level, so that's quite good. We'll take a look at crude oil in a minute, but just looking at some of the soft commodities, we had wheat up just under 1%. Big falls in softs this week. We're just seeing targets met, pulling back, and the sentiment generally across the board has been lower. Corn has had an amazing run, so no big surprises there. Gold actually looking stronger. The risk-on trade is back. We're back above the cloud on the short-term chart. Found resistance on the medium-term chart, so medium-term and long-term looking stronger. And copper also running higher. Silver setting up for a big break out of this ascending triangle. $30 is the key level there. US 10-year yields sitting at 1.66%. This is the thing that's been spooking markets, inflationary pressures, and we see that here in the 30-year yield as well. And the German Bund is still below that 170 level. That's the level that we've said is really significant, and we've broken that level, and the long-term trend we've been talking about is also under threat there. So that's really something to watch. Now, looking at the energy mix, we see here Brent crude, first of all, we fell away. We just could not match that resistance level. This is my daily chart here and my 60-minute charts. This is my medium-term view, and it is looking like Brent is just starting to break through this level. It's right on support at the moment. We do have upside targets. We still do have downside target to play for. If you're trading crude oil, remember to play with these box sizes. We do have this target of 65 that was given back on the 18th of May. That is still hanging over us, given a couple of days ago. But we do have a recovery target here, but the trend is down. Watch for a move below 65.50. That would be bad for crude oil. US nat gas actually bucked the trend here, just sitting at just below 3, looking pretty good there, and holding on there. RBOB actually up slightly. Hasn't really been affected by last week's pipeline moves. And then if we look at coal, we are just rolling over here. The uptrend is pretty good on the daily. We're holding that medium-term trend quite well, but we are seeing that short-term move there. So quite key there that we are seeing that trend channel holding on, but within that we are just seeing a rollover in coal. We do have downside targets. Keep an eye on your OTC. If you've got Trayport running on your OTC data, we are finding support here, but keep an eye on the targets on your OTC. Emissions had massive falls yesterday. We're down 7 or 8% at one point. Two big daily candles there on the daily chart, and here we see there's the floor. So 49 is the level that's really critical for emissions. Obviously, if we move below that level, that activates this downside target, and that downside target is all the way back to 38. So really significant there. That's the downside target. Keep an eye on that. And here we see the fall away, quite significant there. So that's just a really key. We do have a little bit of a recovery target here. We've already made it to that this morning. Keep an eye on these 1 minute charts and be prepared to just play around with these box sizes on your systems. One interesting one also is the UK future that launched yesterday, and here we've got the chart of the UK future. That's this dark blue line. The light blue line is the European emissions contract, and the green line is the European emissions contract of in sterling. So we've just put that into sterling to compare like with like, and that's the spread between the two. This will be an interesting one to watch in the coming days as the price action develops, and the 1 minute charts will be really interesting. We just saw a tick up there, so it is actually trading quite well, so quite interesting one to watch. Keep an eye on those charts, and the 1 minute target is going to be really critical as there's a shortage of longer term histories there. Gas actually fell heavily yesterday, as you might expect. The whole energy mix went lower. 57.50 is the new level on MBP. This is the ICE traded contract. If you're looking at your OTC data, you'll have slightly different targets. If we can move higher this morning, we'll activate this target to 66, so that will be quite key. 66.30, that's another 10% higher. The big question, of course, is can we move to new highs, or is this going to be a move, a subsequent move, and then a lower low? That's what we were really going to watch for here, and keep an eye on your charts for that. Looking at German power, this was another big fall over the last couple of days. A little bit of a bounce this morning, not as strong as gas or emissions, but we are seeing here just finding some support. Again, on your OTC data, keep an eye on these targets. These are going to be vital in the coming days. Just don't trade without these targets, really critical. And if we take a quick look at Nordic Power, it's actually held up much better, of course. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.